Choimatic is 40. He's single, lives in New York City. How should he invest? And that's what we're going to talk about today. He's a guy who we did a consultation with, real nice guy, and he said, hey, if you want to use my info, by all means do so. And I said, can I even say your name? He goes, sure. So you can look up Choimatic online, and you can see he's a DJ. He has a real job. He also has a DJ. A good guy. I'm a fan of him. He actually does some record producing as well for cutting an independent record label, which I like. But before we get started, let's take a look at our new friend of the channel. Is Pablo. Hey, Pablo. What's up, buddy? Pablo, can you say hi to everybody? There he is. Oh, Pablo. Oh, yeah, there he is. So cute, so cute. So Pablo is... basically, I am the ice cream man. He cannot get away from me. Every time he sees me, he thinks he's going to get a treat because I'm a big fat baby when it comes to that, where I just spoil him rotten. And I actually give him beef jerky, and he loves it. So anytime he goes out to the bathroom and takes a poop outside, I reward him with some beef jerky. And we just got back from doing that twice already. All right, so that's good. Better outside than here. And, of course, I do police it up. I'm not afraid of Poop Patrol, my friends. If you understand what it's like living in the Army, and back when we lived in Honduras, we'd take poops in the little wooden shed that we had. You put it into a bucket, and every day you'd have to go out there. There'd be a Poop Patrol people, and what we'd have to do is we'd pull out the bucket, we'd hump it over to a fire pit, and we'd dump mow gas on it, and we'd burn it, and we'd have to burn it, and we'd move it around with rakes and stuff like that, put the empty bucket under the poop, and do it again the next day. So I'm not afraid of that. Good times, good times. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's go with my man Choimatic. Choimatic. Like I said, 40 years old. He's single. Good guy. Lives in New York City. Making pretty good money. So he works. His two biggest expenses are health insurance because he pays for it by himself, and housing. All right, I can't remember if he owns or rents. I can't remember. I think he owns, actually, but yeah, I just can't recall. But I remember he put some serious upgrades into it. But I don't think he owns it outright. All right. So his current portfolio essentially is all in his 401k. All right, all in his 401k. He has a little bit in a brokerage account, just a couple $100, and that's pretty much it. So here's how he's currently broken out. He's got 38% in the S&P 500 index, 12% that's a V, the VYM, which is the high dividend yield. I believe, Vanguard ETF. He's got 30% VGT, which is Infotech, 20% in Microsoft, and 2% in cash. So way too much in tech stuff. I mean, between these guys right here, that's half the portfolio. You add that Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Apple are going to be pretty heavily represented in the S&P 500. He's got a lot of money in tech, that's for sure. And only 2% cash. So that's not what I want to see. So what I recommended he do, let me just share with you, it's going to be so simple. You'd be like, Josh, why is this guy paying you the big bucks? And this is just those investment consultations I talk to people about. We go 70% VOO. It actually wasn't VOO, was it? It was, VOO. And we go... hold on just a second. We go 70% VOO, and the rest would be in the International Bond Fund, the International VTIAX. So actually it's going to be VTIAX. 30% is not VOO, it's VTSAX. And the reason it's not VOO is because you're adding dollar cost averaging. And as an ETF, exchange traded fund, you don't really want a dollar cost average into an exchange traded fund. So just put in the mutual fund, no big deal. So you got 70% VT SAX, 30% VTIAX, which is the international, and literally just we're done here. Now, at the end of the day, he's putting he doesn't have a match, so he's going to put $19,000 a year in this. All right, so he put $19,000 a year in that. And if I can get my trusty calculator, and we'll just say, let's say he's got $150,000 in there for right now. And I'm not saying he does or doesn't, but let's just say he does. And we do, bear with me just a second, and we do, we're going to say $150,000 in there. He's 40 years old. We'll just do it for 20 years. 20 years, and $150,000 present value, 20 years our N. We got $19,000 is our payment, 20 years. And then we'll say 8% a year returns. He'll have 1.5686 million by the time he is 60 years old. If he started with 150,000 bucks. That's not too shabby. So just put 19% in there at 8% a year, or $19,000 a year at 8% a year into these three funds. If you choose two funds, if you get 8% a year, he'd have over $1.5 million. That's it. That's not too shabby. But we're not done here yet. So I also said, look, man, what you want to do, because don't forget, he's a young guy. I said, don't even mess with bonds, man. I mean, if you have good money and not debt, which he doesn't have, you can deal, and you have a steady income, which he does, because he does his DJ. He's, I don't know if I said he's a DJ, and you can look him up, just Choimatic. But if you're interested in DJ services, you can look at him. But if you, what I say is, look, you have good income, you're an aggressive guy, you're young, you got your home. I can't remember if it's paid off. I just don't remember, but. You don't need bonds. Bonds you don't need. We need to get growth, and growth. We got to get the growth now because you're young. And he said he agreed with that. So now we're putting $19,000 a year into that 401k. Now what we want to do is we want to do a Roth at $6,000 a year. All right. So the Roth at $6,000 a year. Roth. $6,000 a year, and we want to do that maybe into the high dividend fund. What was that ticker on that fund? But I actually said total stock index. What I said. So I said in this case, just to. We did VTV. $6,000 a year to VTV. Again, that's a V, and that's the value large cap index. Right now it's yielding about 2.75. PE is around 14 or something like that. And that's a dividend yield. So you want your dividend stuff in your Roth. Absolutely. So you want your dividend stuff in your Roth. You want your 401k all encompassing. You just keep it simple, stupid. Total stock index. You look at yourself in the mirror. You like what you see there, big guy, with your floppy ears? Oh, yeah, he's staring at himself in the mirror. So you want your 401k just diversified for sure. You ultimately would like to have your Roth to be your dividend stuff, indeed. So in this case, we're going VTV in the Roth, VTSAX in the 401k, VTIAX also in the 401k. So let's say he's doing $6,000 a year into his Roth, all right? So $6,000 a year is his payment, no present value. And we'll say 8% a year again. We're going to compute future value. And then he's got $274,000. 274 in this guy, roughly 274. And that's all tax free. That's tax deferred, unfortunately. All right, so now what we're going to do is we say at the end of the day, we're going to also do a taxable account. And the taxable account, we'll just say $5,000 a year. All right, because the max he can do is here, the max he can do is here. And so let's just say he's got $5,000 a year he can throw into a taxable account. Yeah, I mean, look, he may or may not be able to get all this, but this is what we're shooting for. In this case, we're going VBK. Was it VBK? What was that? I think it was VBK. Yeah, I think it's I think it's VBK, which is the small growth index. It has a 0.5% yield or something like that, dividend yield. I can't remember the PE ratio, but VBK. All right, so what we're doing here, as you can see, we're having here, which is where the bulk of his portfolio is. His dividend stuff in the Roth, his taxable account is going to be growth with not much dividend yield, not much turnover. We definitely want this if we can. If he can come up with $5,000 a year, whatever he is, and just dump it in at the beginning of the year, that's what we want, because we definitely want the index, the ETF in there for sure. So let me just give you let me finalize this real quick so you can see what we're doing here. So as you can see, he'll have $2 million if he gets 8%. Is 8% high, low, or other? I don't know. It's probably, maybe it's on the high end, but who knows? So he's got his 401k. That's the big account. He's got two funds, VTSAX VTIAX, 70%, 30%. He's got his Roth. VTV, 100%. Large cap value. All right, this is everything. All. Then he's got his taxable. VBK, 100%. Small cap growth. All right, I mean, look at that, man. So let's just say ALL, all. So if he's put 6K, 19K, 5K. So let's just start. We'll say if he doesn't have any money to begin with. I'm just using 150,000. You can use 100,000 as your. Everyone's got something to start with, is what I'm saying. If you don't have anything to start with, then just don't have you get my calculator. You just don't have a present value, which is fine. But everyone's got something. So let's just say he starts with nothing. All right, he's got 19. He's got 5 and 6. That's 40,000 a year going into his portfolio. No, 30,000. 30,000 is payment, 0 present value, we'll say 8%, interest 20 years. He'll have 1.37 million in this right here with starting at 0. And literally it's nothing fancy. 1.37 million in 20 years. And we're not getting any bonds that are dragging us down. Well, if he only gets 6% a year, he'll have 1.1 million. That's at 8%. At 6%, 1.1 million. That's still, no one's going to shake a stick at that. I'd take that. Oh, look at little Pablo sleeping. Now, what if we start with 100,000 as our present value, and we only get 6% a year? 1.42 million. If he starts with 100,000 and he only gets 6% a year. What if we start with 100,000 as our present value and get 8% a year? 1.8 million. Either way, the issue isn't that we're having great investments that's very well thought out or anything. It's just simple. Take advantage of the low dividend yield so you don't get much of a taxable burden from here. There won't be any capital gains because it's VBK. You are still going to get some 1099 from the dividend, but if you're only getting 0.5 of 1% as a dividend yield and you don't have that much money going in there to begin with, 5K a year, that's essentially tax-free. Not quite, but it will be. When we rephrase that, so people, oh, Josh, you said it's essentially low tax. It's not going to make or break you with that kind of dividend on that small amount of money. It's just not a big deal. Here, you're getting the dividends in the Roth account, which are all tax-free. Just let that sucker grow. And here, you're covering all your bases. So everything is covered. International, large, small, the domestic stock market. The easiest portfolio ever. Cheap. Get the job done. Is he going to underperform, outperform anything else? I don't know. But let's just say he underperforms by 50 basis points. He's still sitting on 7 figures. But he's probably going to outperform by 50 basis points because of fees. So anyway, that's what I recommend at Choimatic. You should do the same if you're young. Again, this is with no bonds. And we can argue differently with bonds. But if you're young, I just don't see the benefit of bonds. Well, they give you some cushion in case the market chaos. Dude, if you're young, you better be expecting the market chaos, and throw money into bonds to expect with that is just limiting your upside. It's an opportunity cost that you'll never be able to get back. So don't do that. All right, we'll see you next time.